everybody, it's Miss Higby here. Welcome back to another video. I hope that you're all safe and well. It's been another wet, grey day here in Wiltshire, although the sun has just started peeking outside, so I've had to close the blinds because it was a bit too bright in here. I hope that you're looking forward to reading the next chapter in the Royal Rabbits of London series, book number 4. Today we are going to be listening to chapter 9. So I hope that you're sat comfortably and you're ready to start. Chapter 9. The following morning, the rabbits went off into the fields to gather food as they always did. The harvest was over, but there were parts the machinery had missed, and wheat and barley were scattered on the soil. The hedgerows were full of blackberries and elderberries, wild garlic and herbs. Maximilian and Elvira were heading off again to join Harlequin, even though the elders had declared it out of bounds for all rabbits of the warren. Shiloh tried to persuade his brother and sister not to go. "You should come with us, but no, you're too scared to break the rules," sneered Maximilian. "You've always been a goody-goody." He reached for Shiloh's eye patch. As he did so, a paw shot up and grabbed him by the wrist. Maximilian stared at it. Then his eyes travelled along the arm until Maximilian saw, to his utter disbelief and surprise, that the paw belonged to Shiloh. "I'm not the same little Shiloh that you used to push around," said Shiloh quietly. He stared at his brother's astonished face and didn't so much as blink. "Don't ever snap my patch again." Maximilian snatched his paw away, looking shaken. "Come on, Elvira, let's go," he said. And as the two of them disappeared into the bushes, Shiloh thought that his brother didn't look quite so big anymore. Shiloh felt brave as he hopped across the field towards the Fox and Fox. It was a golden September morning. Puffs of white cloud moved slowly across a bright blue sky, and there were no birds of prey circling above in search of small rabbits like Shiloh. He had stood up to Maximilian at long last. Like all bullies, Maximilian was really a coward underneath, and Shiloh was sure that his brother would leave him alone from now on. Standing up to his brother had made Shiloh happy. He couldn't have done that a few months ago, before becoming a royal rabbit. He needed to get a message to his friends in the Grand Borough to warn them about Harlequin and the search for the golden carrot. It was his sacred duty to inform them of a potential threat to national security, and right now Shiloh felt he could do anything, even that. Then he saw the Fox and Hounds pub, and his confidence melted away like ice cream in sunshine. What if the foxes didn't recognise him? What if he didn't have time to explain who he was before they fell on him with their sharp teeth and sharp claws? For a moment he hesitated. Then he thought of the crowds of magic rabbits and of Maximilian and Elvira and the danger they could be in. Maximilian might not be very nice to him, but he was still his brother. Shiloh had to find out who Harlequin was, not just because he was a royal rabbit, but also because he was the only rabbit in the warren who seemed willing to do something. From what his mother had told him, all the elders had done was talk. So, refusing to give in to his fears, he hopped over the fields, making sure to keep to the hedges, until he arrived at the little shed at the back of the pub. Just as STBT had done 2 days earlier, Shiloh pulled the horseshoe to open the first set of doors. Then he picked a stone from the box and aimed it at the row of cans above the inner door. The first stone missed altogether. The second one hit the wrong can, but the third struck the correct one, bang in the middle. With a billow of smoke, the door to the Fox and Fox opened, and the little bumpkin stared, terrified, into the dark throat of the fox's lair. For a second, his legs felt so heavy and numb that he wasn't sure he'd be able to move them. Then he gritted his teeth and forced himself forward. But what he didn't see was the broken piece of wood sticking up from the top of the ramp. Clumsily, his hind paw caught on the wood, and he tumbled to the ground, rolling like a barrel, right into the middle of the room. Shiloh squeezed his eyes shut as the smell of fox enveloped him. His head swam. He saw white teeth, felt sticky wet saliva dripping onto his fur, and he heard the howling of voices. He curled into a tight ball with his paws about his head to protect it from the jaws that were coming to rip him apart. But none did. Tentatively, he opened his eyes. Not one of the foxes looked like they were about to eat him. In fact, they weren't even anywhere near. They were still sitting at their tables, or loitering by the bar, or dealing their cards. He sat up in bewilderment, blinking away the horrible images conjured up by his overactive mind. "Hello, little Shiloh," said Riot from behind the bar. "I didn't expect to see you again." The other foxes watched him curiously, and a little dismissively, Shiloh thought. He was ashamed to admit that he was slightly offended that none of them tried to eat him. He hadn't even needed to mention STBT's name. Was it because he was too skinny? He stood up and dusted himself down and acknowledged that there wasn't really very much meat on him. If he were a fox, he wouldn't eat such a scrawny-looking bunny either. He hopped over to Riot, who was pouring a drink. "I thought they were going to eat me." She grinned, revealing her knife-like eye teeth. "No, we knew it was you," she growled softly. Shiloh frowned. "How?" he asked. She put her paws on the bar and laughed a deep, throaty laugh. "How many little bumpkins come rolling into the Fox and Fox, do you think?" She chuckled. "I don't suppose any," he replied. "Exactly, and if you don't mind me saying, you're the only rabbit we've ever seen with an eye patch. We don't get many pirates in here either." She passed him the drink. "On the house. Any friend of STBT is a friend of mine. Now, what can I do for you?" "I need to get a message to STBT," Shiloh murmured. "It's urgently foxifluous." Riot nodded. "I can get it to him by tonight, don't you worry. What is it?" And that is Shiloh speaking to Riot in The Fox and Fox. Shiloh pulls an envelope out of his jacket pocket. "I need him to give this letter to Nelson. It's about a rabbit called Harlequin who believes the legendary golden carrot is buried right here on the farm." "You mean Harlequin and the singers? Harlequin the singer and his followers? We've been watching them take over the forest." She grinned. "We've been picking off the odd rabbit, but really it's much too easy. There's no challenge in dopey rabbits wandering about the place in broad daylight. We foxes do like a challenge, you know." "Is the Warren more of a challenge for you?" Shiloh asked bravely. "It is, but like I said, any friend of STBT is a friend of mine, so we'll find dinner somewhere else in future." She tapped the glass with her claw. "Drink up." But Shiloh didn't want to, and this time he wasn't afraid to say, "As much as I like you, Riot, this isn't my kind of drink. Neither is it a place in which I'd like to linger, so if you don't mind, I'll hop off home." "I don't mind at all," she said. "You take care, and if you don't mind me saying, you're a brave bumpkin to come in here. The first, actually. Well, the first live one." And that is the end of chapter 9. So, Shiloh has sent his letter to STBT to hopefully get the message to Nelson. I wonder what the Royal Rabbits are going to do. Will they get the message? Who knows? I hope that you're enjoying the story so far. Thank you again so much for tuning in and for sharing your lovely comments about how much you're enjoying the story as well. So thank you so much. And I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next one. And then we'll take a break for the weekend and we'll be back on Monday. So see you tomorrow for chapter 10. Bye.